The VOPs FacTILA and Transformational Leadership Model Canvas, TLMC, was developed by Dr. Hussein Othman, based on his thorough study of the best practices in problem-based learning inquiry approaches, and the leadership experience of Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, an elder statesman, the 4th and the 7th Prime Minister of Malaysia. The study was published in 2020. A complete TLMC framework consists of the VOPs and FacTILA Canvas segments. The VOPs is an acronym for Vision, Outcomes, and Problem Scenario. These three blocks are the TLMC's activating components. The FacTILA is an acronym for Facts, Terms, Ideas, Learning Issues, and Action Plan. These 5 blocks are the TLMC's empowering components. The VOPs is the first segment, and serves as a leadership learning activation module. It requires the leader's problem design skills using the 3C3R model. The FacTILA is the second segment. The inquiry process, and learning activities organized in the FacTILA segment, represent the process of leadership empowerment. Leaders who intended to use the TLMC in their leadership learning, and facilitate the learning in the organization, should be able to design the VOPs components, by mastering these 3 main skills. 1. Articulating the organization's vision. 2. Identifying the outcomes of the learning process. And 3. Designing problem scenarios, using the 3C3R problem design model. VOPs components are both the basics, and triggers for the learning to start, and progress further. The vision and outcomes, are the basic components, that guide the direction of the learning process. Whereas, the problem scenario, triggers and activates the learning to take place in an active, and proactive way. Vision. In a real situation, the leader should reassign, and re-articulate the organization, or group vision to the group members. It might be the whole vision of the organization, or part of it, that is directly connected to the problem scenario. The lesson behind this block is, to recap, and enlighten the leaders, and followers, on the organization's highest purpose. In a learning simulation and training, the group leader should organize a discussion session to decide on the group's shared vision, based on the training goals. They could use the organization's vision as a guide. Leadership coaches and facilitators should facilitate, and guide this process. Outcomes. In a real situation, the leader should be able to identify, and list down the intended learning outcomes expected from this problem-solving session. Members are encouraged to ask for further clarification about the expected outcomes. The lesson behind this block is to develop a clear mission, and direction throughout the problem-solving process using the TLMC. In a learning simulation and training, the group should discuss, and identify the key learning outcomes they intended to achieve. Understanding the knowledge hierarchy, and Bloom's learning taxonomy could be very helpful for the discussion. Leadership coaches and facilitators should facilitate and guide this process. Problem scenario. In a real situation, a real-world problem facing by a leader, redesigned into an authentic problem using the 3C3R model, and then presented to a group of leaders within the leadership circle. The problem should be complex and ill-structured, but not wicked. The purpose of this block is, to trigger and activate the problem-solving process. In a learning simulation and training, the group will select the most relevant real-world problems, redesign them to authentic problem scenarios, under the guidance of leadership coaches and facilitators, using the 3C3R problem design model. They will also learn how to pilot the problem scenarios, before using them for the inquiry process. The problem scenario is the result of the problem design, or redesigning process, and it is one of the main blocks in the TLMC. This block could only be properly filled by the leaders, who had mastered the skills of designing, or redesigning the problem scenarios from real-world problems to authentic problems. Speech writing skills and delivery might be some of the other essential skills that could help leaders to design and present appropriate problem scenarios. Speeches delivered or addressed should trigger and stimulate the followers to think and act. Transactional leaders frequently use speeches to promote themselves and reward the followers in exchange for their support. Transformational leaders, on the other hand, use speeches to articulate the vision and challenge the followers to face the uncertainties. Such of these speeches are highly relevant to be redesigned into a proper TLMC problem scenario using the 3C3R model. Leaders should be able to identify the 3C's components in the speeches and promote the 3R's components in the learning process. The second TLMC segment is the empowering components. It consists of 5 blocks of FacTILA, the acronym of Facts, Terms, Ideas, Learning Issues, and Action Plan. The learning activities organized in this segment represent the process of leadership empowerment. Facing the problems, a transformational leader decides to empower other leaders in the leadership circle, as well as followers, to participate in the decision-making and solving of the problems. The FacTILA inquiry approach is highly relevant for this task. The authentic problem scenario, designed beforehand, should provide learning opportunities throughout the inquiry process by addressing the researching, reasoning, and reflecting components, the 3 R's. This is the second part of the 3C3R problem design model. The authentic problem scenario will be presented to the group to empower them to embark on an inquiry process using the FacTILA inquiry approach before finally deciding on the most feasible and credible solutions. This will certainly help the leader and the team to work on proper collective problem solving and decision making the best they can be. Facts. Facts identification is the first learning step for the group and the first block in the empowering components. Members will go through the problem scenario, mostly in form of a written description, to get a better understanding. Then, they will start to identify and break down the facts from the problem. The facts are not necessarily the factual components of the problem, rather the main components of the problem that need to be broken down into manageable components. This will better facilitate the next learning activities. The purpose of this block is to enhance the skills of problem identification and management, to identify the manageable components of the problem. Terms. A good problem scenario should carry and embed sufficient terms including terminologies, abbreviations, unique phrases, proper names, any strange or difficult to understand words. Group members will have to conduct cross-reference to dictionaries, encyclopedias or any related sources. The purpose of this block is to strengthen the organizational vocabulary and understanding. Ideas. Idea generation is a learning activity of connecting the prior knowledge to the facts and terms identified. Each fact and term should trigger the group members to connect to their prior knowledge and experiences. The purpose of this block is to widen the problem space construction, as required in the researching and reasoning components of the 3C3R model. Learning issues. Having understood the connection between facts, terms, and ideas, group members will have to generate and propose the related learning issues. Learning issues are the emerging issues and problems at hand that need to be learned thoroughly before deciding on the best problem-solving approach. The purpose of this block is to interlink between what they have already discovered, the known, and what they should explore further, the unknown. One of the best ways to interlink the learning issues is to use the Socratic questioning approach that could lead to a proper understanding and increase the probability of solving the problems and making a convincing decision. An action plan is a strategic and systematic design of actions that need to be executed to get a deeper and broader understanding of the learning issues. Each action plan represents the need for self-directed and self-determined learning activities. The group should plan for the pre- and post-self-directed and self-determined learning activities. There should be an individual as well as group self-directed and self-determined learning activities. The group should also plan on getting feedback from the members through presentations and sharing sessions. Learning activities in the action plan block should be strengthened through the application of reflective and metacognitive learning activities. This is to ensure the learning to be concluded in a double loop format. Learning activities in the action plan block are highly crucial for developing and enhancing problem solving, knowledge management, and decision-making skills. There are numerous determining success factors for the application of TLMC in solving leadership problems, as well as in training future successors and followers. First and foremost, leaders, in the case of real work setting, or leadership coaches, in the case of leadership training, should be well trained on using the TLMC as a leadership problem solving and learning tool. Followers, or future successors, should also be trained and equipped with an active and proactive learning attitude and skills. The organization should provide a better workplace learning environment and equipment, as well as an attractive rewarding system for members who manage to improve their learning skills and contribute to solving the problems and collective decision making. This Transformational Leadership Model Canvas, TLMC, was developed on the leadership experience of Dr. Mahathir, an elder statesman, the 4th and 7th Prime Minister of Malaysia. It is, however, applicable to the leadership experience of almost all great transformational leaders of the world, as well as the emerging leadership problems facing by the present and future leaders. Thank you for watching this video. To learn more about the TLMC learning simulation on the leadership experience of Dr. Mahathir, please click the links provided in the video description below. For more information on the TLMC, please watch other related videos in the Transformational Leadership Model Canvas playlist, available on this YouTube channel.